Hi guys, it's Wednesday. I'm live on a Wednesday because I was away Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and I told you guys I'm moving the live to today. How are you? This is a live on conscious reality creation, practical tips on what to do differently in your life, how to switch your mindset. It's an interactive live, but I do have some things I want to talk about. And I generally take up questions from my group or people who email me if I find they are beneficial to everyone. So, let's see. It's the end of summer, last week of summer. I'm actually always looking forward to September. I think this is from the time when I used to be in school. I always saw like kind of September as a beginning of the year, you know what I mean? And I did a lot of schooling. So I was refreshed every September. I was never like, oh, I have to go back to school. It was more like, I wonder who's going to be in my class. I wonder, who my teachers are going to be. I was just excited to meet new people and interact with people and just learn something new. And, I carried this love for learning into my lifetime. And so I read like hundreds, and I don't even know how many books, but it's in the hundreds. It's at least 100 on reality creation and the right mind and everything. With my group, we're reading the Game of Life and How to Play It from Florence Scovel-Shinn, and the movie Burn after reading. And we are taking lessons in manifestation and reality creation from that. We are taking sort of like, okay, what happened in here and how is it the universe unfolded it that way? And if you start looking at movies or books, especially at movies, because there's this thing like, oh, they have to tell us, you will find that the lessons are all there, right? He told me he's unhappy with her. It wasn't her choice. What are you talking about? Okay, so again, this is a live on mindset. I don't know if I have my regular audience, because my regular audience is generally, I'm generally live Mondays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to turn on my car because I find it very hot and humid. And I put on some AC here before I start. Oh, quiet. And I'm going to start with some questions, okay? And see if this live is for you and you want to stick around. So let's see. Actually, I'm going to start with something else. This is a queen from my group who started the 60-day challenge in my bio. So she's saying, I'm new here. So nice to meet you. I started the 60-day challenge and I'm on my third day. Today I saw a movement with a girl I wanted to befriend for a while. She came and talked to me and suggested so many activities she'd like to do together. My analytical mind still thinks that this is just a coincidence, but overall I'm glad I saw movement in this area. However, do you know why in another area I saw the complete opposite today? Isn't it part of purging maybe? Thank you all. So somebody actually replied to the screen and said, welcome. Yes, it's my first time. And the first thing that happened, my boyfriend and I broke up. It's part of the process. So guys, do not start to do this work if you're not ready for major changes in your life. Now, the good news is all these changes are aligned with you reaching your final goal. I find that many times the mindset of people who start this work is, I'm going to manifest $2 million and I'm going to keep things exactly as they are today with everyone in my life. That never happens. Never happens, okay? Even if you have the most perfect relationships, manifesting a whole bunch of money on top of that, what's going to happen is all those relationships will change, right? Everybody needs money. Everybody's going to look to you. What are you going to do with that money? So I'm not saying this is a bad thing or you shouldn't wish for money. What I'm saying is, do not have this naivete about keeping things exactly as they are and you just on top of that adding all these things that you want. That's not how the universe will deliver it to you. It is very possible the universe will remove from you the people and the circumstances that are in the way of you and that future you that you envision, if you have enough clarity in the future you. If you have enough clarity in the future you that you're envisioning. You have your 9 to 5, you have the clarity that you're a business owner, you work 4 hours a day, you're making a good income, you're spending more time with your kids or more time on your hobbies. The first thing that may happen, you may lose your job, okay? It happened to me, it happens to a lot of people who report back, but we all end up okay, right? The worst thing you can do is you start being in fear. When the first bad thing happens, you switch your vibration from your intention of who you want to be to a fearful you, to the you that you are in this moment, just that person in fear. And when you have that, you can forget about everything else, because now you're in a vibration from which you cannot create. You cannot create from fear. There's only two primary emotions. We discussed them. There's fear and there's love. They both create. They're both very powerful. Okay? And every other emotion is sort of a derivative of that. Now, if you find yourself that you have a feeling that is not love, that is not peace, that is not harmony, these are derivatives of love, right? What happens is you're supposed to do something with that feeling. So your feelings are not independent states. Your feelings are the way your vibration is communicating to you where it's at. So at every point in time, you have a certain vibration, and that vibration is creative always, okay? And in this vibration, the way, how do I know what state I'm in? How do I get to that state? You pay attention to how you feel, because your feeling will tell you what vibration you are in. This is how we interpret our energetic body vibrating. You guys know all this is science, right? So our bodies are not static. There's just like the atom is 1% matter and the rest is energy in a certain state of vibration. That state of vibration of every atom in your body is communicated to you via your feelings in every moment. You have to pay attention to you. And the most important part of this work is really, really understanding yourself. Everybody has different paradigms, and you have to understand yourself. Because if you don't understand where you're at now, you won't be able, if your paradigm will not be able to be replaced to create a path to where you want to go. All right, let's see. I want to take up, hang on a second. Mona, I wanted you to know I've really struggled with the concept of God. I felt a lot of resentment from growing up in a church cult. Your explanation of God in what you posted on the live you posted on YouTube really healed some of that. I appreciate you, and I'm so happy I'm getting a little getaway because I was leaving. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about the concept of God and the way I presented. By the way, if you're interested in my other lives, they're posted on my YouTube channel. I go live once a week and I save it. It's mostly teaching materials, and I take up questions that would teach others. So what she's talking about is this explanation of God as the creator of this game in which we can use our thoughts and feelings to interact with the game. Okay, so the universe, what they call the universe, being this neutral computer machine, it's neutral, and it functions on definite, precise, and immutable laws. Okay, because a computer always functions on that. It can't just give preferential treatment to X and Y, right? These laws are very fixed, and they do not operate based on what you think they should operate on. Okay, for example, the law of gravity. If a toddler falls off the building, they're gonna hit the ground. Okay, that's the law of gravity. It doesn't matter, ignorance of this law. You can't say, but he didn't know. That toddler didn't know that if he steps off the building, he will be unalived. He will pass from this world. He didn't know that. So this law should not apply to this toddler because he didn't know, right? It's not fair. So with your mind, you're going into this, but the law does not care about your interpretation of how things should be, right? Things are the way they are. And you don't step off the building because you understand the law of gravity. You understand what would happen to you. So it makes sense for you to start contemplating the other laws that are not so obvious, that are not taught in science class, but are producing the same results over and over again in your life. So if in your life you're getting the same results you don't want, over and over, it's time for you to stop to be like, which laws am I violating? Maybe I don't know these laws, but I would like to know what keeps me stuck in this program, in this loop, in this thing that I'm at. Where's my mind? Like, what was programmed in my mind? Here's what happens to most of us, to all of us. We are born, and from the moment we are born, we are taught to kill our imagination and listen to our senses. Okay, you heard your parents, your school system, listen to me, pay attention now, look at this, look at this. So you are forced to interpret reality based on your 5 senses. What does this taste like? What does this feel like when you touch it? Describe it. This feels, they tell you what it feels like. You touch some fur and they tell you this is soft. This is the word for it. It's soft, right? And so everything you perceive from there on that feels a certain way, they told you what it is. They told you the meaning of it. This is how paradigms are created. If you are operating from the interpretation of your 5 senses, what's going to happen is you're always going to take your input from the output. Right? The output of your life is your paradigm, and now you're taking your input through your 5 senses. So you're looking at it, you're like, my relationship isn't working, my boss is rude to me, and I don't really have enough money to do all the things I want to do. That's your output. So now you're internalizing that as when you're seeing it over and over, this is who I was born to be. This is me. This is what's going to happen a year from now too, because you're interpreting a future based on your past results. You understand? This is very deep. You have to really think about this. Take it from me. Your future has nothing to do with your past. It has absolutely nothing to do with your past. The only reason there's continuity in your life and the same things happening and the same loops and the same conversation is because you are operating from these paradigms that are creating the same results. And then you're internalizing those results. You're feeding into the algorithm the same results, the same thoughts. So in doing this, you're not using a lot of your mind. Okay? You're using your brain, but you're not using a lot of your mind. Mind is the ability to choose the thoughts that we want to think. It's very difficult. I know they tell you, it's easy. Why are you complicating this? Simplify this. If you just think of an image of this and this, but luckily by now, everybody's tried the easy routes. And right now they realized it's not that easy. So I don't have to convince anybody, okay? This is not me negatively talking. This is me encouraging you to do the work on yourself. So if you understand that it's going to be work, you're going to understand that if I do the work, then I will be rewarded. Right? Whether you do the work in 3D, you do the work in 5D, it's the same thing. But the results are much more miraculous and faster if you do the work in 5D. But they won't be like, in 3D is work and in 5D is no work. It won't be like that. Most people don't even get past level 1. What's level 1? Disciplining the thoughts that you have in your mind and going on a mental diet. If you're the type of person who every night you scroll for 2 hours, you can't put your phone down, or you watch, crime shows, or you watch things that are imprinted in your subconscious. You watch negative relationship content about how men suck. There was another, unaliving. There was another grape in the world. There was another, so all of this is seeping into your subconscious, is creating more of one of the primary feelings. What are the primary feelings? Fear and love. And so if you're not prepared to discipline your mind, choose your thoughts, go on the mental diet, force yourself to be in that space where you meditate, where you release your control to, let's say, somebody else. If you're doing a guided meditation and you're actually able to follow those prompts, try a guided meditation tonight. Follow those prompts and see how difficult or how long you can stay in the following of the prompts. Most people can stay like 5 minutes. Afterwards, their mind goes off and then they don't even listen to what the person is guiding them. Okay? I'm being asked if I'm going on a retreat in Marco Island in November. I'm not going anywhere else this year. We have other life plans, and my spouse just started something new and exciting, so we can't go anywhere. And for myself to travel alone, I would only do it maybe once a year. So ask me again next year. All right. So where was I? I want to finish the questions that I got here, but I answered the questions while I also do some of the teachings. By the way, guys, I want to tell you something. In my inbox right now, I have like 7 or 8 emails from people in my group, okay, that are about this long. I kid you not. And I want to tell you that I will not be reading them. So what I find a little rude and a little bit, it's just, I'm not really going to give it an interpretation because I want to stay in a point of love in this group. I have 2 ways of working with people. Watch my content, learn, submit a question that has to do, like a general question. I'll be happy to respond to it. Second, join my group. It's like a nominal fee per month. And in there, put a question that's more personal to you. But it also has to be a concise question. What do I do in this situation? I'd be happy to answer it. And I do. I have a group coaching every other week. Or work with me one-on-one. I only have 2 hours a week, though I can dedicate more than that because I have a 3D business. So work with me one-on-one and I'll be happy to understand your paradigm. But do not, while now working with me, not send me an email like this and say, I have a question, but here's what you need to understand about me. A, B, C, when I was born between the ages of 0 and 5, and then this is what happens, and this is what happens, okay? That is very, very rude. It's rude, okay? It's not, you're taking, like, to read and interpret your paradigm when you're not working with me. It's just, the request is, like, I'm not going to do it anyways, but the request is very rude, I find. And it's sort of, I don't know if you expect results when you're looking out there to take from someone something that's not given freely. So I'm just not going to, yeah, exactly. So I'm just, it's disrespectful. Is this, but I don't want to internalize this disrespect. I want to tell people you are at the level where you are right now because you're not thinking of your contribution to others. I'm happy to provide a lot of stuff for people. But do not send me. So the 7, 9 emails that I have right now, I'm not even going to go through them. Okay. If I see something like this and you're not working with me, just know that I'm not reading it. Okay. I want to keep this in the positive and I want to help you guys with some of the questions. Okay, so this, I don't know if I got this in another live, but if I did, you'll have to forgive me. And I want to read it again because it's so important. She's saying, she's part of the challenge and she's saying, in the past, I've been very specific about the things I wanted. Oftentimes I have received those things with ease, but in receiving them, I noticed this wasn't bringing me the deep satisfaction that I thought it would. The greater intelligence has more in store for us. So I realized that it's not just about letting go of the how, but also letting go of what I think will make me happy. I have surrendered to God to show me happiness. And lately my affirmations are more along the lines of trusting the universe to unfold my life in all areas, love, health, money, in the most exciting and joyous way. In this process, I've met new people. I've gained clarity around how I want to help people. And each day feels more exciting than the next. And although I have manifested a lot of the tangible items during this time, it hasn't been about that. It's been more about the connectivity and the relationships. So what I want to say in this is, it is easy to go to this step once your basic needs are met. So you guys remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs? And let me just take the time to Google this. When your life is relatively okay, it is easy to say, I want it to be better, but I don't really know how to make it better. Show me, how to make it better. I want to be more fulfilled. I want to be more joyous. I want to be more happy. So here it is. So this is the hierarchy of needs if you guys want to Google it. But what it says is at the basic level here are physiological needs, which is food, water, shelter, clothing. So when you're trying to manifest yourself out of a situation where you're going to be kicked out on the street, it's very difficult to be like self-actualized here and release it to the hands of God to improve your life. It's difficult, okay? Unless you grew up religious, it's very difficult. The second one is safety and security, health, employment, property, family, and social activity. Take the time to go through this and find yourself, where are you in this Maslow theory of needs, okay? Where are you? And if you're here, do not put too much pressure. What you want to do is jump one level at a time. That's the right way to do it. Your manifestations have to jump one way, at like one level at a time. It will be the simplest way. And at every level, you're going to realize, like this queen in the story. Yeah, it's been It's been great getting all these tangible things, because I needed a car and I got it, because I needed a job and I got it, because I wanted a spouse and I got the spouse too. But now what's next for me? Now I want to release it to God, to sort of direct my life towards that outcome where I do what I love every day, to I do, and so I know exactly what she's saying, but you may not be there because you have certain needs that are not being met right now in your life. And that's okay. Right? Take it step by step. There's nothing wrong with manifesting material things. I have done it. I've manifested people, circumstances, material things. In the end, none of these things will give you fulfillment, right? What gives you fulfillment is living your purpose and being in a relationship. It's not even the passion and excitement. It's really the peace and harmony. It has to be a derivative of love. If you don't have peace and harmony, if you have this passion with conflict, and if you have this business with ups and downs and you don't know what's going to happen next, none of this allows you to be in a creative mode. So there's just some exercise, go through Maslow's theory of needs and self-actualization and see if it speaks to you, if you're a little bit more advanced in this work. And then I have one more. Then I want to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. And I have some notes here. I had to email you, namely in my meditation, the following concepts came up to me when it comes to work on my manifestation. And I was wondering if in one of your videos you can elaborate and help through some, or better yet, all of these. I realize that I have many wounds, blocks. Of course, we all do. So the following came up. It came up in her meditation. Again, this is something that would be applicable to all, I think. Am I lovable enough to achieve this goal? Am I powerful enough to manifest this situation? Am I worthy of that manifestation to be actualized in 3D? Am I deserving to manifest it? Do I feel as I am enough to manifest this in my life as I compare myself to others that already lived this life? I don't know where to start. It would be great if you could just give us some prompts on this. Okay, so I think it depends on the goals that you have. You are going to run into these questions, going into with your analytical mind into your subconscious. You need your analytical mind to kind of assess what's in there. What's in there, who put it in there, for what reason they put it in there, like did they do it to hurt you or did they do it out of their own ignorance? And depending on all of these answers, okay, because all of these things can be changed, but depending on these answers, your work will be different. So for example, if your mother was evil and was inflicting psychological pain on you, which you now know it was on purpose, you'll have a different forgiving and healing journey than somebody whose mother was she just didn't know any better. She was a miserable person who, she wanted you to be happy, but she told you that you'll never be happy because people like you and her are never happy. They'll always be abused by men and, not have enough money, etc. So that's a different journey, right? So when she's saying, am I lovable enough? Am I powerful enough? Am I worthy of this manifestation? Am I deserving to manifest it? These are normal questions. They're normal questions. You got to sit with your pen and paper and unpack your mind. And you have to, oh, by the way, I have a questionnaire in my bio that you can do it. It's worth like 1 hour of, really coaching and therapy, but it's asking a lot of these questions. You have to sit down with yourself and ask yourself these questions and be like, I'm not feeling worthy right now of, being loved and adored by a husband who provides for me. Now it's easy. You're like, but why not? And so whatever you think about yourself in regards to that specific situation, you have to let it pour out. But why not? I'm not conventionally beautiful. I am 50 pounds over what I should be. I am not educated. A lot of these reasons will come from the world, right? Will come from, like, they tell you on the internet all the time, guys who can provide and whatever, they want a certain type of woman and I am not her. And when I compare myself to her, you have to let all of this pour out of you because you don't know how to change inside in your self-image if you don't know what's in there. So all these questions, let them come to you and give 20 reasons why you're not enough. Give 20, am I worthy of your manifestation, rather than saying I'm worthy, I'm worthy, I'm worthy, I'm worthy. Just understand why you feel that you're not worthy of it. It's very important to understand why you're not worthy. Do the questionnaire in my bio if you want, or just as these questions pop up, just answer them honestly. And I tell you guys, very, very few of us are honest with ourselves. To ourselves, let alone with the world. We're very, very not honest, very dishonest with what we want, because we repeat what's important, what's not important based on other people's opinions. Okay, I have women who came to me, told me marriage is not important to them, only a few sessions later to break down crying that they actually want to be married. Okay, that money is not important, or you know, their father, like they left their father. There was one with the father, they, you know, they don't really care that their father remarried or whatever, and they actually cared immensely, it turns out. So a lot of these things are coping mechanisms, you convincing yourself that you're okay in a situation that you're not okay. Every time you do that, you damage your real self, your spirit, your super conscious. Okay, if you read that book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, that's the super conscious she's talking about, your connection with the divine. You're damaging that because you're going against what you really want and who you really are. Okay, we're not all meant to live the same life path. But if your path is more aligned to what everyone else is doing, do not try to not live it because everyone else is doing it. That's also a thing. You know, like, everybody's going that way, I'll go the other way, just because of your ego. Remember, when you're doing these paradigms, when you're doing these meditations, when you're doing whatever work you're doing with me or on your own, you have to assess the level of difficulty that you're having at the very superficial spots of your practice. Like, is it difficult for you to motivate yourself to sit down for 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night to listen to some affirmations or to do the work on yourself? Is it difficult? Do you forget to ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling this way? What's triggering me? Am I observing? Am I taking my input from the output right now? Because the output doesn't matter. Are you having these conversations with yourself, or are you completely forgetting about it? Are you only remembering this when you see me or other creators on TikTok and you're like, oh yeah, this thing with the manifestation, with the, you know, with the rituals. Well, what are we doing now? The new moon ritual. What are we doing? Is it the only time that's in your mind? So everybody should have different answers to this. But if at level 1, you can't get yourself to do the mental diet, and you can't get yourself to meditate, and you can't get yourself to just do the things in 3D, just fall into awareness, then you can't expect miracles from 5D. You can't. Okay, we all have a free will. We were talking about the structure of God, and I don't think I finished that. God is running a simulation. And yes, it is true, he knows everything about every single potentiality because he's unfolded all these potential simulations. So he knows everything. He knows, you know, your parallel lives and every other decision you made and the end of it all. But what he doesn't know, and the reason he's running the simulation, is which one you will choose. This is a crucial point. He doesn't know that. That's why he's running the simulation. There would be no reason to run a simulation if you already know the outcome, right? There's no reason to endow beings with free will when you can make them all follow you and obey you. You gotta understand this, that which script you're on is up to you. That you, as unfolding the script of your life, you gotta create the end result of the script of your life, and you got to let the script carry you there. But that's where you have free will. It's not the free will into what's going to happen tomorrow and you manifesting $1 million. That's not it. That's the universe. That's the how. What is the best way to manifest moving to another country? First, understand why you want to move and why you haven't moved already. Like, why you haven't moved already, you will find there's things that are stuck in there. Okay, and why you want to move will also be things that are maybe not sufficient for your paradigm to allow them. Like, I would love to live in the United States. So I would love to pay less taxes. I live in Canada. And tax very, very high rate. Okay? And also I would love to enjoy better weather, but probably better weather when I have the ability to travel in the winter from Canada. You know, I have the financial ability to travel. But it's not enough for my paradigm to move me to a different country. There's not enough of a push, of an emotional push based on these two main reasons to move me out of Canada. Okay, now when I think about why haven't I moved to the United States yet, I can come up with 1,000 different reasons, right? Like, I don't want to take the risk to, you know, go on a business visa. I don't want to get a job. Okay, I don't want to work for anybody, so I don't want to get a job to get the H1N1 visa or what have you. I don't want to invest 200 grand to start a business in the United States to get a visa. I don't want to leave my parents here. I don't want to take my child away from her dad. You know, like when I think why I haven't moved, I know why. Like, it's an idea. I would love to live in the United States, but why am I not? Why hasn't this? The universe hasn't done it for me. When I look at it that way, I understand why. And you probably have the same thing. So again, why do you want to move? And how do those reasons compare to why you haven't moved? Be honest with yourself. I haven't moved yet. Anyone else? Let's see, did I miss anything? Once we understand we're not worthy, what are some of the ways to change the paradigm? It's important to understand why you're not worthy, right? If you're not worthy because you think you're 50 pounds overweight, that's an easy fix. You shouldn't even try to convince yourself. You just lose the 50 pounds. If that's the only reason you feel you're not worthy. And there's people who, when they lose weight, their whole inner being shifts. It shifts to being like mega confident and this is what happens. So if you know you don't feel worthy because of a thing that you can execute in 3D, that's the easiest thing. But if you feel you're not worthy because your father made you feel for 15 years of your life that you're a piece of crap, that's way more complicated to derive your sense of self-worth. But one thing that is going to increase your sense of self-worth is never allowing anyone to violate your boundaries. See, the problem with most people, and especially most women, they don't have any boundaries. I mean, their boundaries might be like, okay, he can't, aggress me. He can't, that would be a boundary. But in general, they don't know. They don't make boundaries. Hey, you can't speak to me A, B, C, D. You can't go out with me if you don't pay the bill. If you can't be in my life if you're not prioritizing me. If you're not texting me twice a day. If you're not calling me. If you're not never bring me flowers. There's no boundary. There's no boundary. They're starting with a man. It's usually a man, but it could also be their friend's coworker, boss. They're starting this relationship and they don't know where it's going. They don't know where they're like, let me see, how he's gonna, and then they call their friend, he hasn't texted me and he hasn't. Why are you calling your friend? It's over. It's next. It doesn't matter why he's not texting you. This is not a man, like, it really doesn't matter if, he has 6 children and he's too busy with them. You're not going to get what you need. You're not going to get your boundaries respected. And he might not. There was a woman who asked me, she goes like, I'm dating this guy for 4 months and, he has small children and I have small children, but I'm ready to sort of integrate, because we said, I love you. He tells me that he loves me, but he says he wants to wait at least a year before introducing me, before, I'm thinking, how do you feel? Like the timing, I don't care about the timing, okay? But how do you feel about that? She goes like, well, I just started crying like at night. I'm feeling down. I'm feeling depressed, but he's a good man. And I don't want to lose this good man, right? And I'm thinking, look, what's happening here is you have a boundary that you don't even know about. Like your system, your energetic system has a boundary. Your energetic system is not okay with you. Like his energetic system is coming into contact with yours, right? Because they were being intimate, which I told you guys before is the most powerful exchange of energy, and you're taking on his energy, right? So your energy system is giving that but your energetic system is not receiving back what it needs. The social situation has nothing to do with how your energetic system perceives reality. Do you understand that? The social norms of our society may be such that if you have small children, you don't introduce them but your energetic system does not understand that. And you're not going to be able to convince your energetic system of that. So if your energetic system is violated, everything in your life is going to start falling apart. Starting with your emotions. Again, your emotions, your feelings are how your vibratory system is communicating to you where you're at and what you need to change. You're sad every day, depressed every day, you're ready, you feel stuck in this situation. You have no guarantee that after a year he's going to introduce you to his children. But right now you're feeling uncomfortable, more uncomfortable. Every day you're getting more and more uncomfortable because you're ready, your energetic system is ready for something else to move in a certain direction, and he's keeping it stuck. And so what his energy system needs does not match what your energy system needs. And you have to disconnect from this. So it's my honest advice. Because you got to prioritize yourself first. Yourself first. When? Life is today. It's today. It's not 10 years from now when he's going to be ready and able. His kids are finished high school and he's ready to be a good husband to you. Your life is today. You don't even know if you're going to make it 2 years from now. We don't know. None of us knows. Okay? Your life only happens today. How you feel today matters the most. The most. Not how you're going to feel 10 years from now, and who cares? Who cares? You don't know. There's no guarantee. He can't guarantee that he's going to make you happy then. So, if you keep delaying your happiness, the fulfillment of your energetic system to a point in the future that somebody else dictates for you, you're violating your boundary. And you're not in creative mode. You're not in feminine mode. You're not in receive mode. You're just in giving mode. It's just like that investment. It's just like putting money in crypto. Okay? You don't know. You might have, you put 10 grand, you might have 3 grand in 2 months. You might have 12 grand, but you might have 3. You don't know. It's like crypto, okay? Don't crypto your relationships. Your relationships have to make you feel good 90% of the time. Or it doesn't matter. He's a millionaire, billionaire. It doesn't matter. You have to feel good in the relationship. See, I missed a lot here because I care so much about women. I want to explain this a lot. Literally happened to me. Hey, Queen, do you know anyone who actually changes their body without a diet? Yes. People in my group, me, like I don't eat like an animal, but I'm not on a diet. People in my group have, anybody in my group here who can attest to this? I wasn't overweight before either. In corporate world for 30 years. Quit and wanting a job aligned with New Earth value. Not sure how. If you follow the prompts and if you did it not from a place of hating the corporate world, but from a place of pursuing something that you really want, you won't regret it. Now, when you quit in awareness, unfortunately, okay, I don't want to say unfortunately, I scratch unfortunately. What happens is you've taken a 3D step, you have taken it. It's not the universe. I was so sick with the corporate job and I was thinking if I only had 50,000 cash right now to start my own business, I know exactly how I would spend it and what I would do. And they let me go after 9 years, 3 months later, after I put this thought out there. But I let the universe figure it out. They pay me out $52,000 cash after tax. And I did what I said I was going to do and I was successful in it. But the thing is, I didn't take the action in 3D myself. I didn't quit myself. So if you haven't quit yet for all the other queens, ask that this situation be resolved to your highest benefit. Because now, because you quit, and I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do. You should always leave a situation that is not vibing with you. But your quitting time may have been 20 years ago, may have been 5 years ago for this to be the optimal solution, i.e. the quitting to be the optimal solution. And so what I want you to do now is forget about the corporate, it's almost like you have to reinvent yourself, that person that you were in corporate didn't even exist. Because if you think about her, what's going to happen, you have this resentment. Oh, I stayed for 30 years. It was so bad. It was so, you have to break with this person, okay? And what you have to reinvent yourself as in, I'm here, I'm present. My past results have nothing to do with my future results. I did what I thought was right at the time with the information that I had at the time. So I stayed. Now I'm here, I'm free. I'm not independently rich. Show me what direction I need to go. By the way, true story, hand on my heart. When I got my 52,000, I was like, what am I going to do? Why should I just, start this business? I was kind of like, unsure, like how to do it myself, even though I had a plan for it. Somebody, I swear to you, somebody called me, the most unlikely person. Somebody called me. He said like, oh, I think you should meet with this guy who's like another business person. You guys should have lunch together. I said, well, what's the story with this guy? No. He's like an older man. He has this type of business. He's like, okay, I'll go for lunch with him. I went for lunch with him, and we were in business together for 7 years, almost 7 years. Okay. So when you're in that thing, like the universe is running, the program's running, I just know that in the end, I just remember my free will is my intention to run my own business, to be relatively successful such that I don't need a corporate job, to not work 8 hours a day. Okay, even though some days I work like 14 hours a day, but the majority of days work like 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day, right? So that was my goal. And that happened via a way that I didn't overthink. It kind of just snowballed. I'm like an angel. Thank you so much, guys. No compliments are necessary. I hope you take something from this life. Presence in the moment. Let's see what else we have. Someone says, thank you, I left my 3-year relationship because of this. I guess that's our talk about relationships, the boundaries, guys, listen to, if you're feeling bad, it's not the relationship for you. That should be your only assessment. Being in wish fulfilled for always receiving energy form of money. I don't know what that means. Yes, I've been doing it since I was young. I was told I was so skinny as a child. Oh, okay. You have the other problem. You need to gain some weight. Okay, this is relevant. I think it pops up once in a while. How can I get a job that I love? I don't know what that is exactly. And so, depending on how old you are and stuff, this may happen, right? And especially in the beginning part of your career, you might not know what suits you. You might not know. This is why, as you're coming through life, or if you have children, it's important to put them in different roles. It's important for them to work in a restaurant, work in an office, and see which jobs they really don't like doing. Sales, put them door to door, put them, and just, if they quit after 3 days, it's not for them. So it's very important when you're very young to try out a few things, to sort of like, you should help your child or your teenager kind of navigate through what they would like to do, as opposed to you thinking of a solution. Oh, they got to be a doctor, a lawyer, an investor, a crypto guy. Find out what suits them. Because, Christina, the most important thing is to know what you like to do. The universe can't help you otherwise. Otherwise, you're on somebody else's script. You can't even get out of it, because you don't have a direction. The script can only carry you based on what's in your paradigms, unless your will imposes something else on the paradigm, and the will is strong enough to swim against the current of your paradigm, while at the same time you're doing the work to change your paradigm because you've understood them. That's how you unpack the mind. This is not a 5-minute job. It's not a 3-day job. It's not. Do you guys know of those people who it works mostly with SPs, but not really necessarily just with SPs. It works with love too. It works with money, receiving a certain amount of money when you have a need. It's just, and then they can never do it again. Like their SP comes back, they tell them the words that they journaled, and then they leave again. And then they tell them, I think the biggest mistake people make in this work is that when they see a result, they think it's going to be permanent. If you shifted your vibration by doing this work for, a week, a month, or who knows, some people may be able to unpack a certain area of their paradigm for long enough that their SP responds to it, that a certain amount of money responds to it. But then they can never do it again. Or they're thinking, I manifested $10,000. Now I'm going to manifest 20. But it's 2 years later, they've never manifested even $100 since then. This is what happens is you fall back in the trap of the ego. You're like, oh, this is how it works. I just imagine a check for 10,000 and I get it. And then you can't do it again. That is because people in their inflated ego think that this results, that the inner change that you effectuated for a few seconds is permanent. And they not putting enough importance of how, they're not putting enough understanding, enough relevance on how important their paradigms actually are. So they're temporarily overriding a program, but they're not actually, the program's still there, struggling for its existence. These paradigms have a life on their own. They're energetic systems that are operating. No energetic system wants to be wiped out. That is the rule of life. Life wants to keep on going. An energy system wants to keep on continuing. So if you have temporary results in this, know that maybe you're talented, maybe you're able to, but it's not because the universe is really difficult and sometimes it gives you, sometimes it doesn't give you, you're guilty, God, this and that. It's because you effectuated a small change for a very temporary amount of time before your paradigm sprang back to life. It's like a spring, right? So if you push down a spring, it will stay down for how long? Until you remove your hand, then it will pop back up. You didn't remove the spring from your hand. It's still there. You just suppressed it a little bit. You're able to put something on top of it and then it bounces back. Do not be arrogant enough to think that if you got like some miraculous result, you can maintain it. Unless you feel like a different person than the person who didn't have that result. You have to feel this consistently. You have to overcome that self that you used to be. How can you not listen to intrusive OCD thoughts that are really scary? Because the person that you are is able to identify that this person is not these thoughts. And the observer of these thoughts is really you. So now that should kind of piss you off. I should kind of be like, I am observing those thoughts in my mind. This is not me. I don't have OCD. I am not OCD and I am not these thoughts. I probably picked them up from the collective consciousness. You reason with yourself. From stupid movies I've watched, from, like true stories of crimes that I've watched, from other people's misfortunes. And I have this OCD thoughts of things that are scary. These are thoughts that I have. I can choose to I, the observer of these thoughts, choose not to have these thoughts. I have nothing to do with my life. And I'm actually pretty pissed that I assimilated these thoughts that are not mine. They have nothing to do with my life. And I don't want them. Who is me? Me, the will of this consciousness, the consciousness. And these thoughts are just things that I have. Like I have my makeup on and I have my rings on and I have this. These are things that I have. They're not me. And if I don't want my ring anymore, I just take it off. You have to be stronger and completely identify yourself differently than the way they taught you in school. I'm manifesting new career. I have an interview with the company today. I feel it's aligned with my manifestation. Any advice? Yeah. Your first interview, you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. Right? You're assuming the company is good for you. You don't really know. You go in from a position of power. I don't know if I want this job. I don't know. I'm going there to find out if I want it. And from that position of I'm here to assess, is this for me? How do I feel about this person who's interviewing me? Then you move from that to an observer. You're no longer performing. I had to perform what she thinks about me. Hang on a second. What do I think about them? This actually happened to me at the start of my career. I went right after university. I went to an interview. They called me for a second interview. I said, I'm not coming. And I'm sorry, I didn't feel like the company was aligned. They're like, what do you mean? We're actually prepared to go a little bit more. It was like an entry level kind of thing. We're prepared to get a little more. We really wanted to see you again. I really want to introduce you to the president of the company. But I got a bad vibe. So I was like, I didn't like their office. I was like, I've interviewed you, dude. You didn't pass. Take it lighter. This is difficult when you really need the money from a job. It's difficult to do. But if you are about to quit another job for this, go in a position of power. You're the one interviewing them. And if you don't want to go again, by the way, you can send them the rejection email. Thank you so much for your time. As you know, a first interview is determining if, the candidate is right at the position, and for the candidate to determine if the company is right for them. I'm really appreciative of your time, but I don't think this position would be a fit for me. Feels good to send one of those emails once in a while. What else we have? I did this at work, could never get my interview right. I decided to interview them instead. Yeah, exactly. I'm the one interviewing them. I read this recently and I really liked it. I make some notes when I read my books just to share with you guys. An idea that's held in the mind, whether it's feared or revered, okay? So remember, love, fear or love. An idea that is held in your mind begins to clothe itself in the most convenient physical form available. So the idea that you hold in your mind is just an energetic signature. And this is said poetically. It begins to clothe itself in the most convenient physical form available. Not convenient for who? Not for you. Convenient for the universe. If you feed an energetic form enough power, it will want to manifest in physicality. This is how we're manifested in physicality. We're ideas in God's mind, let's say it poetically. But if you have the same power at the lower level. You have the power to bring an idea to clothe itself. But actually, you won't be able to stop it. You won't be able to stop it if you hold enough attention on it. And so I told you guys, the universe, it brings to life things in the way that there is the least consumption of energy for it to do so. It's not necessarily in the best way for you. Like, it will achieve the result that you gave it if you get out of the way and let it do it. What happens is people are not okay with going through the trials or tribulations of these things unfolding, and then they step in. They're like, no, that's not what I want. That's not what I meant. I wanted things to go back to the way they were. Oh, I was manifesting him back, and he got with another chick, and that's another thing about the SPs, guys. I'm glad to see not too many people ask me about SPs anymore, because you guys know my opinion on it. But the most important realization I had with SPs and people you love, who has SPs, usually somebody who left you, treated you badly, you're trying to manifest them back. Or it's somebody who has no interest in you at work and you're trying to make them interested in you. Specific persons that you have in mind. The person who wants them cannot have them, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's a catch-22, because the you who was left and treated badly is the you who's trying to manifest them obsessed to come back to you, okay? But it's the same you. You want him because, the ego of this person or whatever, you can even have feelings for him. It's the same you. It's the you from over here who's been treated badly. And you want him to come back and be obsessed with you to satisfy your ego or to satisfy your broken heart. But it's not a different you. Because in the fact that you want him is telling you you're the same person who wants somebody who treated her miserably or somebody who has no interest in her. Think about it. I would never want somebody who has no interest in me. Why would I want that? I'm an amazing and interesting person myself. Whoever's not interested in me, it's not that they're dumb, it's just that we're not on the same frequency, right? Like, how can I want somebody who doesn't want me? You know what I mean? So only this other person who's thinking, I don't want somebody who doesn't want me, only this person can have different. But if you are this person from over here, you're not gonna want him anymore. I don't want him anymore. Get it? So it's a mind bender. It's a mind bender. You can't. If you still want him after he treats you badly, you haven't changed at all. So you can't have him. And if you change, you're not going to want him. That's crazy how that works. This is why when we're manifesting SPs in my group, which I'm not okay with, like some obsessively manifesting a guy, but we're saying him or better. That's my compromise with you guys, okay? I want John or better. But you have to know exactly what qualities about John you want, because it's going to be John or better. Somebody in my group put there that I think I read it in the last live. She said, I put in there and I wanted this guy, joined your program to manifest this guy, and he was making $70,000 a year. And instead of that, I got somebody with all the qualities of this guy who's actually a millionaire. And she continues on. Who's like sending me lunch every day, and I have this and this, and he pays for this and treats me like a princess. I don't want John, I want better. I love that. So if you want to go over this live again, somebody says, I wish my sister was listening on this. All my lives are posted. I only go live once a week, and all my lives are posted on my YouTube channel. You can even go through some older ones. Thank you for all the gifts and roses. They're not necessary, guys. I don't know how to take any money out of this, the 5 cents. But at some point I checked my balance and I had a whole whooping $31 or something. Since I started this account, it's still there. Like I started a year and a bit ago. So I don't know. I don't want anyone to waste their money on this kind of stuff. I want you guys to know it's no use, right? It doesn't make any difference. But thank you so much for sending. Like, put likes, you know, just so my live is promoted to more people. But it's not necessary to send me any gifts or anything. All right, let's put our hands together for the 369. I am a winner. This will take 30 seconds. And if you don't want to do this with us, I'll be back live on Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am a winner. 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 I am a winner.